Hi guys, what you just saw is the Picostar from Asclepion in action with a tattoo removal. This one is the first of a series of webinars. We'll be doing 3 webinars showing you what indications you can treat with this laser system, the Picostar from Asclepion being the fastest pico laser out there on the market. And starting off will be with treating the treatment of tattoos. I'm Dr. Hans Bayer. I'm one of the co-founders of the tattoo clinic Achromatic. Achromatic meaning as much as from Latin it means color free. We founded our tattoo clinic back in 2017, I think already, and we are now in midst of our tattoo clinic. We'll be doing some live treatments because I think that's always the most interesting part, when you can see how the laser is really used, the tricks of the trade, and we'll get right into it. One question that I often get asked is the removal of tattoos, is it like really economically interesting? There's been this interesting study performed in Germany in 2014 where more than 2,000 adults were asked. It was a phone survey where they were asked about their habits towards, do they have a tattoo, do they have piercings, what is their social status. A really interesting study with more than 2,000 participants. And what I always do if I give a lecture, then I always ask people, what do you think? How many people in Germany, or maybe in your age group, or in the group of the 20 years old, do have a tattoo? And I always remind them with this slide that tattoos aren't only more seen in prison inmates or sailors, but they've reached the middle of our population, of our culture. My age group would rather relate to Beckham, maybe the younger age group would rather relate to Justin Bieber. So if we take a look at what the study showed us, we can really see that in the group of the 25 to 34 year olds, 22%, that's every fifth, more than every fifth, has a tattoo, at least one. In the whole population it were 9%, meaning that in a population of 84 million people we have like 8.4 million people with tattoos, and as many reasons there are to get a good looking tattoo, there are just as many reasons to get rid of the tattoo. So that was a point that was also investigated in the study, and we could see that also like around about 10% of people with tattoo regret their tattoo. Again, Germany, 80 million inhabitants, 8 million people with a tattoo, so we got around about 800,000 who regret their tattoo and want to get rid of it. And I think it's really important, there's a whole lot of discussion going on nowadays, who is allowed to treat tattoos, should it only be doctors, or do we need a regulated access? And my opinion is that we definitely do need a regulated access, because these pictures that I've seen here from patients of mine that I've been treating, it cannot be said, if you see this, that we don't need a regulated access, meaning that my personal opinion is that it's not only doctors who should be allowed to treat tattoos, but we need proper education and proper tools. Let's have a look at the history of tattoo removal. The first lasers were in the 80s. The first publication that I found was from 1980, where a CO2 laser was used to remove a tattoo. And as you can see here on this picture, please don't use an ablative laser to remove a tattoo, because if you're using it away from the face, chances are always way too high that you will get a scarring. So please don't do that anymore. I think that's overdone. And things changed. The game changer was when in 1982 Rox Anderson first published the theory of the selective photothermolysis. What is selective photothermolysis? This is one of my favorite movies that we're looking at right now. Selective photothermolysis, meaning that we can, if we use laser light of a certain wavelength that is then absorbed by specific colors, like specific chromophores like melanin or hemoglobin, or in this case tattoo pigments, red or black or green, we need different wavelengths, and then with an ultra short beam of laser light we can destroy the pigment. It gets heated up to 900 degrees Celsius, bursts into small particles, and these small particles will then be transported by the body away through our lymphatic system. And here's one of the tattoos that I did. Here's a barcode on the neck. It's 25 years old. Here you see the immediate reaction after the laser treatment. This is normal. You want to see some purpura, because that shows you that you've reached the right energy, and but then it always will heal off nicely within a couple of days. And here you see the picture after 10 sessions. Especially the neck is a perfect location to remove a tattoo, and nowadays we see more and more people coming with tattoos on their neck and even on their face. But it's a thankful area to treat, because you got a good lymphatic connection there. Moving further down the timeline, the next game changer was in 2010 when Rox Anderson again introduced the picosecond lasers. Picosecond lasers being a natural evolution from the nanosecond lasers that he introduced in '82 up to the picos now. Nowadays we already have the second generation of picosecond lasers. The problem with the first generation was that their output, the energy output, was just way too low. Here with the Picostar from Asklepion we have an output, maximum output of 2.6 gigawatts. That's just 3 times what Chernobyl ever had as output. So it's a gigantic amount of energy, and that within 300 picoseconds. Again, we have this nice scheme showing you that with the picosecond lasers there's not only the photothermolysis, but we also have a different effect, the so-called photoacoustic effect. We have such a high amount of energy in such a short period of time, causing a high tensile stress to the pigment, and being in the picosecond we also can split up the pigment to way smaller particles, meaning that we can get a better clearance of the tattoo. Not meaning that the tattoo will be faded quicker, because the removal of the pigment has to be performed by the body. And with that being said, let's go and treat some tattoos. Hi guys, so as I just said before, we'll start now with our first tattoo removal treatment. We've got lovely Salome here, and Salome has got 2 tattoos that she wants to get rid of. One is on the neck and one is on her upper thigh. Salome, this is like the we were talking before, the third or the second? The third. Today's the third treatment, and as you see here on the neck, we already have some nice removal, some residual ink, but for 2 treatments I think it's a great result. You can see the skin is a bit greasy. That's because we always use a topical anesthetic before treatment to prepare the patient. Everything to reduce patient's pain, because let's be honest, tattoo removal is painful. We also use a cooling device. The cooling device is not only for reduction of pain, but also helps us to reduce side effects. But we'll get to that later, show you that later. And before we start with the treatment, of course, like always, we do an antiseptic swab of the skin. Okay, cold. And never forget to wear the protective glasses. Salome, can you take your glasses? And so, the Picostar. things I like about the laser are it's the innovative design. You know, this is the opening window that you have. It says laser indications are set up, so you have different opportunities to get to the laser treatment parameters that you want. I always start off with laser. Now we're down with 4 millimeters and 1064. Right now it's 1.9 joules and 5 hertz. To find, I always do a test spot first. So I'm going down to 2 hertz or maybe 1 better even. And right now we're at 1.9 joules per square centimeter. It looks like a nice settings for me. And I just start off with hitting the laser symbol. The laser will now start. I'm starting the cooling. The cooling can go down to minus 20 degrees Celsius, so you really get a nice cooling of the skin. It's kalt. And as I said before, like always, I'm doing a test spot before. Achtung, Salome, skin los. Now, how was it? Okay. So we already see a nice blanching reaction. Okay, another shot. So 2 things, you can hear it, you can see it. You see the blanching and you can hear the cracking of the skin. The blanching of the skin is due to these small gas bubble formations that whitens. So I like the parameters. To speed things up, I'm changing now the frequency, going up to 5 hertz. The nice thing is I always can do that within the activated menu. I don't have to go back, I don't have to start all over again. I'm just doing it like this, that it spares time. You're getting quicker, and of course it's also better for the patient if you're quick. Okay, we're starting now. Almost done, halfway through. See a nice reaction. Don't try to overlap too much, because with the pulse stacking, you will only cause side effects. And last part. There you go. A quick treatment. You see a nice blanching reaction. And we already see some first petechias that will get a bit more. And well, that's been our first treatment, and we'll be back in a couple of seconds when we start with the upper thigh. All right. Hi everyone, welcome back to our second session right now. And as I mentioned before, we always use a topical anesthetic before treatment, and to even potentiate the effect, we also use thin foil, because it's an occlusive therapy, so you get an even better anesthetic. We leave it on for like at least 30 minutes, and as you see, the nice thing is there's no redness, no swelling of the skin, and the perfect pain reduction is just significantly higher. And of course, again, we do the disinfectant treatment before. And the lovely thing again here with Salome, I haven't seen her for quite a while, to be honest. But this is just the 3rd treatment. And definitely a color that everybody out there removing tattoos is afraid of is pink, because these reddish colors are really difficult to treat. But with Picostar, it's so convenient to treat red. Really great results. Also with other colors, interestingly, we also got a ruby laser, but nowadays we more and more use the Picostar for several treatments of the different colors, like greenish, because it reacts so good with different colors. And just imagine this ribbon, a pink ribbon, been just after 2 treatment sessions, and the colors really, really nicely reduced already. So in this case, I usually start off to treat the black part, the outer lines of the tattoo. And here you see a common challenge, because these thin lines, these fine lines, they're really hard to treat because the ink is really deep on these parts. But you also see here some nice results. And with the pink, we will do that afterwards, and then we will switch to 532, and I'll show you that in a minute. So again, looking for the treatment parameters, reducing the hertz, and this time because the colors really faded the black, I'm switching here on the handpiece. You have this rotating bezel, and I was switching it up to 5 millimeters. The convenient thing is that the laser automatically recognizes this. So I'm always saying, you know, if you once get into the situation that you're treating, and maybe you treated your patient with 3 millimeters, and then accidentally you switch the bezel up to 5, the laser will always recognize that and will then stop the treatment by itself. So we're using the 5 millimeter spot. It's the largest spot size that we have on the Picostar. As you all know, the larger the spot size, the deeper we get. And here we have these residual parts of colors that are like really deep. So we need a bit bigger diameter. Starting off with maybe 1.7 and 1 hertz, just again to find the proper treatment parameters. Okay, let me just quickly start the cooling. Salome, you ready? Yes. All right. You can see the spot. Okay, first shot. You did hear the signal. But of course there's not so much color anymore, so the reaction is not as strong as we saw before. How was it pain-wise? If we say like 0 is no pain and 10 is the worst? 4. All right. So I think Salome is a brave girl, and so we'll rise the energy a bit. 1.9, and again you see I'm just doing this within the menu, don't have to switch back, the laser is still activated, pushing up the hertz to 5, and we're ready to go. Always try to be on spot with the cooling. It doesn't make any sense to cool around there if you're up here treating. Okay, here we go. We're doing really good. And always keep the cooling on where you are. That's really important. And do not hesitate, please, to buy one of these cooling devices. All right. That's been the first part where we did the black outlines with the 1064. And the nice thing, of course, is now for the reddish, we'll just have to switch to the 532 to get treatment done for the reddish. So I'm deactivating the laser, switching from 1064 down to 532. I'm keeping the spot size on the 5 millimeters and fluence. Let's see, going somewhere. I'm rather wanna keep the fluence low with the red, even though the red isn't as painful as black, funny enough. I'm not quite sure why that is, but red isn't as painful as the black. True? True. Okay. Pretty simple. We activate again. Pre-cooling of the skin is also good for pain relief. I'm doing the first shot. Okay. Maybe I'll go a bit, set the energy a bit higher. Going up to 0.7. Okay. Now you see a nice result, nice blanching. With a bigger size, you don't do it shot by shot, but you do this polka dot, just to reduce the possibility of blisters or other unwanted side effects. I'm doing the polka dot. All right, that's it. That's been the treatment. Really important point for me, and that should be also be for you, the user out there, is to take proper measures for the aftercare. It's not only what you do before, like the cooling of the skin, using the topical anesthesia, but it's also really, really important to use a proper aftercare, thereby minimizing the risk of unwanted side effects after the treatment, like infections or scarring, and we'll do that next. Hey everyone, welcome back. As I said before, almost as important as using the proper parameters for the treatment is the perfect aftercare, because in all ways, under all circumstances, you want to, you don't want any negative side effects. So what we are doing is we're using an antiseptic cream that we apply richly. You can see on the tattoo the reaction with the pinpoint bleedings. This is what you expect, this is what you want. But of course you see that it's not only the small petechia to be seen, but there's also some wounding of the epidermal layer. That's pretty normal. But to reduce the chance of side effects, we're using an antiseptic cream. And after the antiseptic cream, I'm using a specialized wound layer. The advantage of this is that you don't get any, if there's some blisters or whatever, it won't stick to the skin. So it will be pretty pain-free for the patient to remove these. And we will leave this one on for 48 hours. And after that, usual topical wound dressing is just enough. Yeah, that's it. And a small rest here, like that. It sticks like that, thanks to the cream. And if possible, leave it on for 48 hours, give the wound, the skin time to heal off. Not like with the tattoo that you, like in the beginning, wash regularly. You just leave this one on and give the skin its time to heal.